Greetings! I have a quick video today. I just wanted to jump on and show you a little crafty thing that I'm doing. First, before I show you, I wanted to reassure those of you who are wondering about my candles. That video is coming. That project is going to be coming. But this is sort of on the same line as that. But I don't know what your house is like or what your life is like. But in my life, I always have a lot of projects going at the same time, a lot of things going on at the same time, and things get bumped out of the queue. But I had a thing that I've been working on. Actually, it's something getting ready for Samhain. I'm doing a little bit of a kind of an event. I'll tell you more about it later as we get closer to Samhain, but there's a lot of preparation to do beforehand. And one of the things I was considering was my table and use of candles on a table. Here I go back with the candles. See, it's the same theme. I don't want to use container candles. They're not appropriate for what I'm doing. I can use pillars and tapers fine, but you know I'm going to use a lot of them. Being Samhain, I want a lot of candles everywhere, and I have to be a little bit careful how I use them because I don't want to be cleaning up wax all over my entire world. One of the things is, I want to say that around here in California, it's Samhain, we still very well might have windows open. Probably will have windows open. So there's liable to be, that problem again with the candles melting down too quickly. Perhaps not, but there's a chance. I don't want to chance it. So I was thinking, one thing I could utilize on my table is oil lamps. And I don't know if you've ever used an oil lamp or you've ever noticed, but here on my parlor, my reading table in the parlor, and also here on my kitchen, this is my kitchen table that I'm on, I do have an oil lamp. It's kind of big. You can't see it. It looks bigger than it is. Well, I don't know. I keep this on the table here all the time. We don't use it in the summer, but in the winter we use it a lot for light rather than using candles. We will use this. And the reason that we use this is because I don't have electrical access to my table. My table is in the middle of the room and my plugs are along the walls. Rather than have electrical things or battery powered lamps or whatever, we have these. We have several of these, and I love to use them. It's vintage and I've had it for a long, long time. We've used them for a lot of things and they're very handy. Of course, if you're going to have a power outage, they burn a long time. It's real simple. They burn lamp oil, which is very, it doesn't smell. It's lovely. It's fine. So anyway, I thought, well, I have two of these because I have the one here and I have the one in the parlor. And I thought, well, I have other ones. Don't I have other ones? And I was thinking, and of course, yes, I do. I have this one, which is probably my favorite one. I hope you can see this well enough. I can pick it up if I can a little bit. This, I love this one. It has this beaded glass here at the top. This actually is, well, this is a vintage. The larger ones are vintage, and they're quite old. I don't know the difference between vintage. I would think they would be antiques at this point. Yes, they'd have to be. Antiques being 50 years or older. These are definitely older than 50 years ago. So I guess these would be considered antique as well. But this Queen Anne one here, has Queen Anne burner in it. It is, it was a family piece, and I know who owned it, and it has to be, and also I've researched them, of course, because I used to do antiques, but it is dated between 1880 and 1900, somewhere in that 20-year period, and that falls right in line with the people that owned it, that were family members. So it's really old. But of course it still works. It's beautiful. The globe the globe has had to be replaced a few times, but it's still beautiful. And it's complimentary. I can use these different things on the table. And then I said, oh, my husband, I think, reminded me that we had some other ones that we had been given. I don't think that we were given them as a gift, but I think we got them in, some of our friends get together and we used to have like pink elephant gift exchanges. I think that's, or white elephant, not pink. I don't know why I say pink. White elephant gift exchanges, where you bring a wrapped gift and something that you have that you maybe don't want, and you wrap it, and then people take turns. Somehow there's a game involved, and you get to pick a wrapped present to open, and then you have the option of exchanging or giving, putting it back and I don't know, giving and getting another one. I don't know. There's a game involved, but as a result, I have quite a lot of this kind of items, and so and people know they were excited when I got this gift, because there were 2 of these kerosene lamps. Okay, now I have never used these, because I have this one, like I said, I have this one here in the kitchen. I have one in the parlor. I sometimes would keep one out on my sunroom in the back. I mostly use candles out there in that room though. But anyway, I have 2 of these. This is fine. I thought, well, maybe I could use these, because there's 2 of them, and that would maybe be good. But then I got to thinking about it, and I got it out, and I opened it up, and I looked at it. And I thought, does this really go with these? Because maybe to your eye it does, but to my eye it does not, and I'll tell you why. It's not that this is blue glass, this is blue glass. Of course, they're completely different, right? Obviously, this is an old antique glass, and this is obviously contemporary, just painted kind of weird glass. But that wasn't what bothered me. What bothered me was the burner, and that's what I want to show you. I'm going to take the globe off and show you that this burner, you can probably tell, very, very shiny, even though it's been corroded a little bit around the top, just a little bit, like a little bit of rust on it. But the cap, you can see underneath here that it screws onto the bottom here, is very, very shiny, very cheap metal. Okay. Now here in my vintage one, if I take the globe off of that one, it has got a patina on it, because it's old, right? I'm trying to read the markings, what it says on there. Well, that's an eagle burner, I think it says. Okay, but anyway, it was once probably a shiny gold. Now it is corroded a little bit and a little tiny bits of rust, but it's mostly a patina. This does not really complement this shiny, shiny new and this patina, kind of out of place. And especially even more so when you look at this beautiful Queen Anne burner here. See, these are both vintage. You can see they're aged. They're vintage. This in between them, this with them, is just very harsh. It's offensive to my eye. I don't want things, they don't have to match. But this is obviously, it's like a train wreck in time travel. It's not a good mix. It's not a good mix. So I didn't really like that. So I thought, well, what can I do to fix this? Okay, so that's what this is about. That's what this video is about. And nothing wrong with the globe. The globe is perfectly fine. But I was wondering what I could do, first of all, with this burner. And I unscrewed the burner. Let's see. Well, we first tried to do, I want to say what we first tried to do. What I first tried to do was just corrode it a little more. You can see on YouTube, there's a lot of videos. People show you how to age things. And they suggested that for a lot of metals, that you might want to just use like something like a Lysol toilet bowl cleaner. And just put that on, let it sit, and then it should corrode, especially like if it's galvanized. Well, this is just coated. It's not really galvanized. I don't think you can consider it galvanized, but it is metal because it's magnetic. But anyway, we tried that with the other one, and it was rusty. It kind of got rusty. And I was a little concerned about that because I have done that before for a treatment. Like I've taken tin cans, and I've rusted those a little bit, corroded those a little bit to hold candles, which they look cute as anything. They look wonderful, but the problem with that is it usually keeps on rusting unless you treat it. It'll keep rusting, keep rusting, keep rusting until, like, who wants it anymore? It's just it's a rusty mess. Plus rust, you can't clean it properly. It gets off on your hands, and I didn't want that. This was going to be a fancy event, and I wanted this to be nice. So that was out. So we got rid of that. We said, oh, we didn't want that. So we ended up getting some paint. My husband got some paint, spray paint, and it's just a paint, an easy spray paint he got at the hardware store. That is just, I was going to have the can here, but he's not here. I don't know where the can is. But it's just, I think it's supposed to mimic like some kind of a gunmetal or something like that finish. I don't know what a gun, now that I think you said gunmetal, but now that I hear the word gunmetal, it doesn't even, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's what I mean to say or not. But I'll show you, because I want to show you my finished one. But before that, I wanted to show you, so we wanted to change this. And then on top of that, I said, what about this blue glass, beautiful blue glass? And this blue glass with this contemporary swirly, and it's just not nice. It's not really nice. Some people might think that's terrifically nice, and I don't want to, you know, you might think it's terrifically nice, but I didn't, it wasn't the mood that I was going for. I didn't want it to just look like I just stuck everything I had together. I wanted it to kind of blend. So what I did is I got the idea that I would cover the glass somehow with some kind of like a little coat. Like I made a little coat. And I got the idea, I looked on Pinterest, I believe, and there's a lot of things on Pinterest where they take and they make little covers of one kind or another. They use them predominantly, I guess they were used on candy jars first, to use for candles or something, for you want to use candy jars. But also people they'll use like a pickle jar, and they will make a pretty cover for it, and then they can use that for a candle, for the bottom of a candle, which is really cute, to put a tea light in. They were adorable. They really were adorable, some of them. So that's what I did. I went online, and I looked in Pinterest, and there was somebody, I think I got this from her. I'm trying to look at her name. I got this, I think there was a pattern that I got. I followed the lead, and I know you can't see this. I don't think you can see it, but there's two like covers. I can hold it closer. Perhaps you can see those two jars. They're covered. There's a lot of them that are done with macrame. These were crocheted, which I was kind of interested in, because I had a lot of crochet cotton and things. I thought, well, I have so many yarns and crochet cottons and things that I think I could use. Help me use up my stash. So anyway, I found it on Pinterest, but I ultimately ended up with following this and going to her video, which she has on YouTube, to show how to do this, because I knew my pattern, I could not use this pattern for this jar. This is for a straight canning jar, and this is obviously a non-straight canning jar. But the method, I could use her methods, and I knew enough about crochet that I could adjust the pattern, which is exactly what I did. Okay, so what I did is I found some yarn, which I have no clue. I have no clue why I have it. It's very odd. It's a scrap yarn I found in my stash. I don't even know what it's made of. It feels to be a cotton of some kind. But there has to be some kind of a nylon or something in it. It has to be some kind of a blend, because it has a little bit of spring to it, a little bit of stretch, which pure cotton would not have. So it's something, and it's a variegated color, which I liked because it was for my event. It's like a purple, like a light purple, and an orange, and a green, which are really cool colors to use for Samhain. And I couldn't really use it for anything else, because as you can see, this particular skein of yarn had a disagreement at one point with one of my cats, and so it's kind of a mess. But it's variegated, and and anyway, I made a little coat for for my jar. And I followed her instructions, sort of. And I followed her instructions, but then I experimented. And what I did was, I won't tell you how. This, I don't know if you can see it, is your best friend. This is your absolute best friend. It is a knitting marker. It is any kind of, there's markers for knitting or crochet marker, I guess. It's just when you mark stitches or mark rows or whatever in knitting, I use them in knitting all the time. But this, what I did was when I was crocheting, I would go around. How you do this pattern is you take your jar, because it's going to be crocheted from the neck down. Okay, that's the idea. And you take, the first thing you do is you make a chain that is long enough to fit around your neck of your jar. But the trick to the pattern is, to this pattern, is it has to be in multiples of 12. Which means you have to use 12 stitches in your chain, or 24, or 36, or 48, depending on how many you have. It has to be multiples of 12 for it to work out. And that's really all you have to do. And then she uses a variation of double crochets and chains, or double crochets are all she uses in her pattern. And she makes clusters or V stitches or cluster stitches, which I will show you, to fit her jar. Now she's going, a canning jar typically has the neck and it comes out a little bit, and then it goes down. It might have to, you have a little bit of an increase, and then it's pretty much straight. This, as you can see, goes way out before it comes down. So that's why I had to keep, I'm sorry, the fan is blowing my hair in my face. So that's why I said this little marker was my best friend, because I would do a round and I would then slip it. I took it apart. I took this thing out of the, let me get that out for you. Okay, I took it out. There, I took it out of the jar. Okay, and then I took the ring and I just kept this in front of me, and I would do a round, put it on the jar, and then I would try her row, and I said, does the second round work? I did it. That seemed fine. Like third round, by the time I got to the third round, I needed to increase. So every time I was at the beginning of the row, I would put so I know where the row started. I would put a marker in that stitch, or in the loop or cluster, whatever it was. And if you do this kind of pattern, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I just put a stitch marker in there, and then if it didn't fit on the jar, I'd try it on the jar. If it didn't fit on the jar, I'd tear it out, and then back to the stitch marker, and I'd start again, and I go, okay, now I need to increase. How does that sit? And I do a round, and if it worked, I would move the marker up and say, okay, those first rows are fine. Okay, so where on her jars, she did 6 rounds. On my jar, I did round 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I did 9 rounds instead of her 6, and then I changed them. I didn't do exactly what she said. When I got in here, I kept increasing until I got it the way I wanted it. And then she finished it. She chose one in her drawing that she finishes with fringe on the bottom, or she finishes with a tassel on the bottom. And she shows you how to do that. I didn't do either of that. I put beads on the bottom of mine. And I want to show you what it looks like, because it's totally cool. It's very totally cool. And it doesn't look anything. Let me put this one back together, because I want you to see before and after. So I think that's the coolest thing. Okay. Put this back on. Okay, this is the one that is untouched. And this is my finished, new and improved. New and improved. I don't think I can put it on the table. I don't think it'll work. New and improved. You see the difference? Look at the burner. The burner was shiny crap metal. And now look how beautiful that is with my husband's paint. And he just walked in the door. What is the paint that we used for this? That you used?
Rust-Oleum hammered metal. finish.
Rust-Oleum hammered metal. Do you have the
Hammered
can?
metal.
Do you have the can handy? I can share. But you see how nice it is? It's so, and so this one goes much better when I'm going to do it with these vintage lamps. Whoops. There's one. And here's this one. Now when I put them together, you see, I have to hold it up more. It's so much more complementary. They go together, so much more complementary. Even though they don't match in any way, they're not like each other at all. But this is just so beautiful. Thank you. See how cool it is? And I'll take this apart to show you how it fits. Oops. Okay, here we go. See, it just slips right down. See, I made a little skirt that I just slipped over the jar. And then I added my beads. These like little pearls at the bottom. That's just what I did. I thought it would look pretty. But there we go. So much different, so much better. Now, I realize you're not going to do this. You don't have anything like this that you're doing in your house or your project. But, you know, I just want to show you, you know, don't disregard the things that you have. That's what I want to try to say. Because I love this. I don't like this. But I love this. I just love this. I think this is going to look so beautiful. When my table's all done, I will take a picture and be sure to share that with you. Because it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be fantastic. Here, my husband brought in this to show you. It's Rust-Oleum hammered finish. And it says you can apply that directly over rust. And I'm sure they have other colors and other kinds. But it's just like, I know he had this in the garage because he had made me a jewelry stand for my bracelets that he painted PVC pipe with the same paint. And it worked out beautifully, and it really complements so much my other lamps. It really complements them. I wish my camera were better. But there you go. So I just wanted to share that. I thought it would be fun, and use your imagination and have fun, but don't settle when it's so easy to alter certain things to make them the way you like them. Have some courage and do it. Okay? Okay, thanks for watching.